The first-year students at Xenon Academy think that today will be just another normal class. But everything changes when Professor JR brings out a rare measuring device with a crystal orb. He tells the class that this test is meant to find out if a monster-level talent is hiding among the students. Argon goes first. When he touches the orb, it shows quality 4 and quantity 17, which is already better than last year's average. Next, Furion steps forward. His results are even better, quality 6 and quantity 20. Everyone in the room is shocked. Then the sleepy student Damien finally wakes up and touches the orb. In an instant, he completely destroys everyone's pride. The orb shows quality 9 and a shocking quantity of 67. The classroom falls silent. Now, all attention turns to Asta. He tries to stay unnoticed and calmly touches the orb. The system suddenly flashes 10, but then shows an error, meaning the limit has been crossed. Asta quickly forces a rerun and hides his real power, showing only quality 3 and quantity 15. There is a reason why Asta is hiding his true strength. Not long ago, Asta was working as a troubleshooter mage for House Declan. During one mission, he secretly steals an important tome. Because of this, assassins track him down. Asta defeats all of them easily, leaving only one alive so he can torture him and get information. Asta pins the hunter down with his magic and asks how to use the important tome, but the man says he doesn't know. This makes Asta realize something important. Even House Declan does not know the true value of the tome. If they did, they would never leave it hidden in a rusty basement. Still, they chased him for it, even though they don't know how to use it. The hunter then suggests that Asta hand over the tome so he can beg the head of the house for mercy. Asta refuses and tells him clearly that he is going to kill him. Suddenly, a portal opens behind Asta. A terrifying and overwhelming aura pours out of it. A man steps forward, looking calm and confident, holding a cane. This man is Farron Declan, the head of House Declan. Farron tells Asta that he wants the tome back, and after that, they can have a small talk. Asta is completely overwhelmed by the power in front of him. He has worked as a troubleshooter for over 10 years, and half of that time was with House Declan, but this is the first time he has ever met the head of the house. House Declan is the strongest magical family on the eastern continent, and rumors say that Farron is the strongest mage in its history. Asta can feel how dangerous Farron is, but he tries to stay calm. He sarcastically asks if Farron is really interested in stealing someone else's loot. Farron laughs, but Asta is nervous. He knows that the situation is extremely serious. He admits to himself that Farron has the most powerful aura he has ever felt. Farron calmly tells Asta that he could kill him easily and take the tome, but he prefers to talk instead. Farron then offers Asta a deal. He asks him to return to work for House Declan. If Asta hands over the tome, all his past sins will be forgiven. Farron admits that Asta has incredible talent and does not want it to go to waste. He is impressed that Asta came from the gray zone and still mastered such effective techniques. Farron gently convinces him, saying that with House Declan's support, Asta could rise very high. After listing all the benefits, Farron finally reminds him of the most important condition, returning the tome. Asta suddenly agrees, and Farron sighs in relief. But then Asta adds that he has one condition of his own. Asta makes a shocking demand. He tells Farron to hand over the seat of House Declan to him, and only then will he consider returning the tome. To show how serious he is, Asta kills the hostage without hesitation. This completely angers Farron. He warns Asta that the path he has chosen may lead to his death. Asta knows Farron is right, but he still attacks him. He wants to see the difference in their strength. Farron easily blocks Asta's blue attack with his red shield. Realizing that Asta needs a lesson, Farron calmly releases a powerful magic blast. Asta is sent flying backward and barely escapes being burned. Only now does Asta truly understand the terrifying power of the head of the house. He cannot find a single opening. When Farron notices Asta hesitating, he attacks again. Farron tells him that there is no need to compare their strength because he is on a completely different level. Asta is hit by a massive magic attack that he cannot dodge. He is crushed, but Farron holds back. Farron tells Asta that he is not ready to kill him. He only wants to talk. Finally, Asta asks him what will happen if he agrees to return to House Declan. Farron replies that he cannot believe Asta's words anymore. Asta feels relieved that Farron understands this clearly. Since everything is now out in the open, Asta prepares another magic attack. He tells Farron that he is done being a messenger and a loyal dog for anyone. Asta pours all his power into the spell. His body shines brightly, like lightning burning through the air. He jumps toward Farron and releases the attack, shouting that he is not ready to crawl back into a cage. Even this strongest magic attack of Asta fails to break through Farron's defense. At that moment, Farron decides to finally show Asta what real power looks like. Before Asta can react, he is struck by a terrifying magic attack. His mind starts drifting, and memories from his past flash through his head. When he opens his eyes again, Farron is standing over him, looking down calmly. Farron asks Asta if he has finally understood what true power is. Asta admits that Farron is indeed very strong. Since Farron keeps saying he wants to talk, Asta asks him if he is ready to let him return as a troubleshooter. Farron then surprises Asta by saying that he wants him to be more than just a troubleshooter. He tells Asta that he wants him to become the head of the Bongshin family. Asta is completely shocked by this offer. House Declan is powerful enough to even challenge the throne itself, so Asta quickly understands the real meaning behind this proposal. They want him to become the head of a branch family so that he will swear loyalty to House Declan as one of their vassals. At that moment, Asta finally understands Farron's true goal. Asta reaches into his storage space and pulls out the tome. Farron smiles when he sees it and tells Asta that he actually wants both him and the tome. He feels satisfied, thinking that Asta has finally made the right decision. But just as Farron is about to take the tome, Asta suddenly sets it on fire. Farron is left completely shocked. He demands to know what Asta is doing. Asta calmly replies that he never planned to give the tome back in the first place. Farron tells Asta that he will now die a very painful and horrible death. Asta then reveals the real reason why he became a troubleshooter. It was never for money. One of his teammates was once devoured by House Declan's young master using forbidden magic. After that incident, House Declan covered everything up as if nothing happened. Farron is shocked to hear this and realizes that Asta is standing before him because of revenge. Asta corrects him and says that he did not want revenge, but justice for his dead teammate. He also tells Farron that he already considers his recent actions as his retirement. Asta then says that these will be his last words. After Asta finishes speaking, Farron sets him on fire and tells him to burn and regret his choices. While burning, Asta screams back that he has nothing to regret. He was ready to throw everything away as long as he never had to return to House Declan. As the flames consume him, Asta feels that this is freedom. He swears that if he is ever given another chance at life, he will take his revenge properly. Suddenly, Asta feels something strange, as if time itself has stopped. He is confused, but the tome in his hands is still active. Magic circles appear all over his body. This is the last thing he sees before losing consciousness. When Asta opens his eyes again, he finds himself in a dirty area, living as a beggar. He looks around and slowly realizes something unbelievable has happened. He has returned to the past, back to when he was a child in the gray zone. Asta walks to a nearby lake and looks at his reflection. It is really him, but much younger. The burn mark on his chest is still there, even after going back in time. He has no idea how this happened, but he is sure that the tome's magic played a role. He also realizes that the tome must be extremely important for the head of House Declan to chase him so desperately. However, there is very little information about it, so he still does not fully understand it. Since he has been given another chance at life, Asta believes that now is the time to succeed in what he originally wanted to do. He remembers his mission, which was also his comrade's mission. Asta recalls a conversation he once had with his teammate about why they belonged to the lower class. His comrade said that their lives would have been much better if they had been educated. They would not have been treated like slaves by rich trash who used them however they wanted. Because of this, Asta had planned to retire and build a library. He wants to create a place where anyone can read books freely, no matter their money, status, or gender. He even wants to go further and build a tower. He does not really need it, but he wants to build it simply because he can. On top of that, he plans to place the secret technique of House Declan on the very first page of his book, so even the poorest people from the gray zones can access it. Just imagining the chaos this would cause makes him smile. Now, only one problem remains. He needs to figure out how to get the manual. Asta is enjoying his dark plan when, all of a sudden, a hard kick hits his cheek. He turns around and sees an angry guy yelling at him, asking where he has been. The guy keeps kicking Asta and shouts that he was saving a seat for him, but Asta never showed up. Asta struggles to remember who this jerk even is, but that does not matter. He is not about to let someone treat him like garbage. Asta grabs the guy's leg and tells him that he has kicked him 7 times, so he plans to return it 70 times. He punches the guy in the chest with all his strength, but his body is far too weak. His His wrist twists badly, and he ends up spraining it. Asta is shocked by how fragile his body is. While he is still confused and in pain, the guy punches him straight in the face again and continues beating him. The kicks hurt so much that tears start flowing from Asta's eyes. The beating goes on until Asta finally finds a small opening. He pushes the guy into the lake nearby. Before the guy can stand back up, Asta runs away. The guy climbs out of the water and shouts, asking why Asta is running. Asta replies calmly that he is not running, but making a tactical retreat. He tells the guy that he will remember his face. He promises that he will remember every hit because he is a veteran troubleshooter, and quitting is not in his nature. One day, he will get his revenge. Asta hides in a narrow alley and stares at his swollen wrist. He cannot believe how weak his body is now. It broke just from throwing a single punch. He decides that for now, he must give up his big dreams and focus on training this weak and trashy body. Suddenly, a kid with a red eye appears and asks Asta if he is hungry. Asta is surprised and asks the kid if he knows him. The boy replies that he has no idea who Asta is. From his looks, Asta can tell that the kid seems like someone from a noble family. He assumes the kid must have fallen from grace during some power struggle. In Asta's mind, the kid feels like a walking pretty little bomb. The boy then introduces himself as Damien. Asta finds it creepy that this kid keeps staring at him and talking so casually. He ends up asking Damien if he is mentally okay. Damien responds by saying that he does not have a mother. Asta quickly replies that he does not have a father either, turning it into a strange competition about who is the better orphan. Asta tells Damien that they should go their separate ways. He clearly does not want to get involved with someone who feels like a ticking time bomb. However, moments later, Damien is still standing there. Asta feels uncomfortable and asks him if he plans to leave or not. To his shock, Damien says that he is going with him. Something inside Asta tells him to smack the kid to knock some sense into him, but he controls himself and simply tells Damien to stay away. Just then, Damien notices the injury on Asta's head and gently touches it. He says that he can heal him. With a creepy smile, Damien creates a glowing magic circle, and healing particles begin to spread. At first, Asta thinks this is magic touch, but he quickly realizes he is wrong. What Damien is using is Light of Healing, a secret technique of House Blander. Asta is stunned. House Blander was destroyed by House Declan. He cannot believe that he has gotten himself involved in something this dangerous. He starts wondering why a Blander child is living in the gray zone. At this point in time, the Blander family should still be powerful. While lost in thought, Asta calls Damien by his name. Damien excitedly responds and opens his other eye, which is green. He has two different eye colors. When Asta sees this, he suddenly remembers something extremely important that he had forgotten. This boy with strange eyes is the one who later became known as the Monster of Blander. He was the mad butcher who would not die no matter how many times you tried to kill him. After Damien finishes healing Asta, he squats down and starts counting ants like a normal kid, leaving Asta completely confused. Before Asta regressed, when he was still a troubleshooter, he and his teammates were sent by House Declan to the Blander estate. They were told that a monster was causing trouble there. At the time, they thought it would be something like an ogre. But when they arrived, they saw a horrifying scene. It was Damien, tearing people apart without effort. He kept casting healing magic endlessly, laughing while fighting like a madman. That day, he earned the name Monster of Blander, the butcher who would not die even when you tried to kill him. Asta shakes off the memory and forces himself to focus on the present. He wonders why a direct descendant of House Blander, and the only possible heir, is standing right in front of him in the gray zone. Just then, Damien suddenly makes a strange suggestion. Damien tells Asta that they should eat. He says his mother once told him that eating properly is important to stay healthy, and he believes that Asta is weak because he is not eating enough. Asta has no choice but to admit that the kid is actually right. Asta then asks Damien if he has any money. Damien casually says yes and pulls out a pouch full of gold coins. Asta's face immediately lights up with excitement. The moment he sees the gold, he loudly declares that he and Damien are now friends. Damien is confused by this sudden friendship, but Asta skillfully talks his way through it. He tells Damien that friends usually share what they have. Damien easily falls for this and agrees. Asta suggests that they go eat something, and Damien happily agrees. After they finish eating, they move to a shelter. Asta's stomach is completely full, which is something he has never experienced before. Damien looks surprised surprised and says he did not know that there was a house above the place where they ate. He admits that he had been sleeping outside. Damien then suddenly says that he does not have a dad either. Asta corrects him, saying that he does have a dad, but Damien refuses to accept it. Asta asks him if he has a mom, and Damien says no. He believes that since neither of them is around him, they must not exist. Asta finally understands the situation and tries to stay calm. He asks Damien how long he has been alone. Damien replies that after running away from his family, he has slept 10 times. Asta assumes that means 10 days and wonders if Damien is being chased. But Damien quickly adds that he also takes naps, sometimes twice a day. In total, he has slept 10 times. From this, Asta concludes that Damien has probably been away from home for only 3 or 4 days. Damien acts like a normal kid, and Asta realizes that even madmen were innocent once. Since Damien is all alone, Asta decides to act like his caretaker for now. He also thinks that forming a connection with the Blander family will help him later when he finally faces House Declan. However, Asta still cannot forget the guy who beat him 57 times. Before going to sleep, Asta tells Damien not to disturb him because he has something important to do. Damien immediately understands and says that Asta wants to practice his breathing. In his past life, Asta built his magic foundation on something very basic. That was why he used to sneak into noble houses to steal spells. He almost died many times, but he managed to steal several techniques, including body-hardening spells used by knights. He learned many spells, but it was only when he was about to die that he truly saw what real power was. This time, Asta wants to become much stronger. The technique he wants to learn is House Declan's foundational art, known as the Heavenly Origin Technique. This is a special foundation method that can hold all attributes of mana. Asta had once memorized it for research purposes, and now he can finally use it. It is also called the breathing technique. The moment Asta activates it, a powerful wave rushes through his body. It feels like his insides are being burned by lava. The pain is extreme, but Asta forces himself to endure it. He then sees impurities inside his body being burned away. This technique is normally only used by high nobles. It forces mana through the body to burn away impurities in the mana circuits. Asta fully focuses on the process and soon feels like he is sinking into a deep pool of mana. When he finally wakes up from the painful process, Damien is already asleep. Asta is shocked to discover that all impurities are gone from his circuits. His mana has become completely pure, even purer than in his past life. Still, Asta knows that even with this improvement, defeating House Declan is not yet possible. However, his chances are much better now. He encourages himself, reminding himself that he is a troubleshooter who never gives up. Later, Asta helps Damien change his hair color to brown and gives him different clothes to hide his identity. He also gives him a cap to wear. Damien then asks what their next plan is. Asta smiles and replies that they are going out to cause chaos. Soon after, Asta finds the guy who beat him 57 times. The moment the guy sees Asta, he asks where he has been. But before he can say anything else, Asta punches him straight in the stomach. The punch sends unbearable pain through the man's entire body, and he immediately passes out. Asta feels proud that he landed the hit perfectly. But he is not done yet. Asta plans to hit him 123 times. Soon, the rest of the people in the house hear the noise and come outside. They quickly realize that their youngest member is the reason for all the chaos. Deep inside, Asta is already imagining all the terrible things he wants to do to them. He releases all his anger and starts beating them up without holding back. Asta pours mana into his fists, making every punch much more painful. Damien stands behind him, watching Asta unleash his rage, and he enjoys every second of it. Damien even makes things worse by healing the injured people, so Asta can beat them again. The first person Damien heals is the guy Asta has a personal grudge against. The man thinks Damien is helping him, but Asta immediately grabs him and reminds him of the number of hits he still owes him. When Asta gets tired of punching with his fists, he switches to using canes. He smashes the main guy so hard that his body heats up painfully, but Asta still is not satisfied. He tells Damien to heal the man again so he can repeat the beating. To the victims, these are not just kids anymore. They look like devilish maniacs who are trying to ruin their lives. After beating them all day, Asta finally stops. To make things even worse, he politely thanks them for their help. He says they were great punching bags, and he feels very satisfied. He managed to land over 100 hits on each person, making it more than 1,000 hits in total, and he feels proud of himself. The leader of the beaten group politely asks Asta if they can leave. Asta agrees. However, the man subtly reminds Asta that this is his house, hinting that Asta should be the one to leave. Asta understands the message and stares at him with a terrifying aura. The pressure is so strong that the man and his companions retreat into a corner in fear. At that moment, Asta senses someone approaching. He can tell that the person is skilled, just like a troubleshooter. It suddenly hits him that this person might be here for Damien. Asta is surprised that they were able to find him so quickly, even though he was being careful. Asta knows he is in a bad situation, but he is not the type to wait and be attacked. In his past life as a troubleshooter, he faced many dangerous situations, and this is no different. He gathers all the mana he can and compresses it again and again. He forms a mana bullet and aims it at the person rushing toward them. He fires the shot, but the man suddenly slides on one knee and dodges it. While sliding, he shouts Damien's name and calls him master. The man slides all the way to Damien, and it becomes clear that Damien knows him. The man is a butler of the family, and his name is Alfredo. Alfredo tightly hugs Damien, but Damien tells him to let go. Alfredo refuses and says that he must return Damien to his family. Asta stands behind them, quietly watching the strange scene. He finally realizes that Damien ran away from his family. After things calm down, Alfredo offers Asta the chance to come with them to the estate, since Damien seems to like him. Asta takes some time to think. He knows the family is prestigious, but he cannot fully understand their true intentions. Still, Asta originally planned to form a connection with them. Their territory is also on the way to the city, which makes things convenient. Xenon Academy is nearby as well, and its library is famous. Asta wants to visit it to prepare for building his own library someday. After thinking carefully, Asta accepts the offer. Soon, they arrive at the family's estate. Asta steps out of the carriage, realizing that this is his first official visit there. Since it is already late, Alfredo suggests that they rest for the night. He tells a maid named Lankency to take care of the kids. Lankency looks at Damien with very cold eyes, and Damien immediately senses that he is in trouble. Later that night, Alfredo goes to the chamber of the matron, Gamo. He tells her that Damien was found in the gray zone and that he has brought him back safely. Gamo is a very impulsive woman. In her anger, she immediately releases an attack spell, but stops once she learns that her son is unharmed. She lets out a deep sigh of relief, and Alfredo does the same. He knows very well that hurting Damien would have been a death sentence. Gamo was once known as the Blood Witch, and her anger is truly terrifying. Gamo praises Alfredo for his hard work. Before leaving, Alfredo tells her there is one more thing. He explains that Damien's new friend, Asta, sensed his presence before he even appeared. Asta had already prepared a counterattack. Alfredo reveals that when they met, Asta was already aiming a mana bullet at him. Gamo is impressed when she hears this. She admits that it is an amazing talent for someone from the gray zone to sense danger like that. Because of this, Alfredo tells the matron that he has a favor to ask. The next morning, Asta wakes up to Alfredo making a shocking request. Alfredo asks Asta to become his successor. Asta is completely stunned when he hears this. Alfredo feels relieved because Asta looks genuinely surprised. He is confident that Asta will accept, since this kind of opportunity is extremely rare. However, Alfredo is left speechless when Asta flatly refuses the offer. Alfredo even wonders if his ears are not working properly. Damien is also shocked that Asta turned it down so easily. Asta admits that it is a big offer, but he says that he prefers living the way he does now. Alfredo immediately assumes that Asta was born in the gray zone and learned magic only through talent, which is why he is so confident. Alfredo then tries to crush Asta's confidence. He tells him that the world is huge and full of dangers that Asta knows nothing about. He compares Asta to a goblin standing in a massive canyon. Asta calmly corrects him and says that he feels more like a wyvern instead. Alfredo is shocked by this answer. To prove his point, he takes Asta to the butler training hall, where trainees are currently practicing. Alfredo proudly shows him the scene. He explains that all the trainees are around Asta's age and have been officially recognized as the talents of House Blander. Asta looks at them carefully and admits that they have received extremely precise training. They do not act like normal kids at all. Even so, Asta is still not impressed. He tells Alfredo that he can feel their auras. Alfredo is pleased to hear this and asks again if Asta is ready to accept the offer so he can shine like the trainees in front of him. Asta refuses again and bluntly says that he hates the spotlight. At that moment, one of the trainees, Winster, raises his hand. He tells Alfredo that he has an idea. Winster believes that Asta is talentless, which is why he rejected the offer. He also thinks that Asta cannot truly understand how amazing they are. Winster says he wants to prove it himself. He is asking for a duel with Asta. Alfredo can sense Winster's arrogance, but he allows it. He turns to Asta and asks if he is willing to fight. Asta understands why Winster wants this duel. The trainees already see him as a rival. To them, he looks like a lucky nobody who suddenly appeared and was offered the successor position. Asta agrees to the duel, but he asks Alfredo if he can choose his opponents. Alfredo allows it. Asta first points at Winster, then points at 4 more trainees. Everyone is shocked when Asta declares that he wants a 5 versus 1 fight. Winster cannot believe what he is seeing. Asta tells him that he is free to back out if he is scared. Alfredo laughs when he hears this. He feels that Asta has the boldness needed to become his successor. He asks Asta if he is ready to take responsibility for his words, and Asta answers yes. Alfredo then makes a deal. If Asta can last 1 minute in the duel, Alfredo will give him a gift. But if he fails, Asta must become his successor. Asta can hear the desperation in Alfredo's voice, but he is not afraid. Once everything is agreed upon, Alfredo tells them to step into the ring. The training instructor nervously asks Alfredo if this is not too dangerous. Alfredo admits that it is dangerous, but says that Asta needs to learn a lesson about arrogance. The instructor is worried because he does not want to hurt Damien's guest. He goes to Damien and tells him that his friend is in danger. He asks Damien to stop the duel. To his surprise, Damien is excited. He even wants to join the fight, but Lankency stops him and says that Gamo will scold him if he gets involved. Alfredo orders the instructor to start the match and stop wasting time. The instructor realizes that he has done all he can. Lankency notices his unease and leaves the room, reminding Damien not to interfere. Damien smiles and promises that he will not. The instructor walks to the fighters and explains the rules. This will be a free-for-all battle. The duel will only end when one side surrenders, but he can stop it at any time if things get out of hand. Winster stares at Asta with pure hatred. He wants to crush him and expose him as a fraud. The instructor announces the start of the match. The moment it begins, Asta does not hesitate. He instantly lands a mana-infused punch straight into Winster's stomach. Winster is sent flying backward in pain, coughing up liquid as his body trembles. Before Winster can react, Asta has already taken down the other trainees. They are all lying on the ground, rolling in pain. Winster is the only one still standing. Asta looks at him like a villain and calmly says that he is about to give him some unforgettable lessons. As he speaks, Asta casually spins mana bullets in his hands. Asta tells Winster that the first lesson is to never underestimate someone just because they seem small or weak. Winster starts panicking when he realizes that Asta is freely controlling mana bullets. He knows how difficult it is to create even one. Asta then continues with the second lesson, telling him to stop judging people so easily. As he says this, Asta fires mana bullets at Winster and the fallen trainees. They all scream as the attacks cause intense pain. For the third lesson, Asta says that the world is vast and cruel. He steps closer to Winster and knocks him down with a powerful punch. Asta smiles at the trainees and says that he will personally make sure they remember these lessons. Winster screams in pain and calls Asta a lunatic. He shouts that Asta is not using magic, but Asta argues that it is magic. He then kicks Winster in the head and explains that he is using physical magic. Everyone in the room is stunned. Asta beats the trainees as if they are nothing and drags them around like toys. Alfredo is left speechless by the mana bullets he witnessed. He starts calculating how much the magic was compressed. Based on the damage, he realizes the bullets were compressed at least 4 or 5 times. He also realizes that if he had been hit earlier, he could have been seriously injured. Alfredo understands that Asta has complete control over his natural mana and is also extremely skilled in close combat. In the back, Damien is busy healing the trainees so Asta can keep fighting them. Suddenly, Lance enters the room with Gamo. She immediately calls Alfredo over. When the instructor notices the matron, he sighs in relief, thinking they are finally saved. Gamo asks Alfredo what is going on, and he admits that he was only testing Asta. Gamo is shocked that Alfredo calls this situation a test. Asta is clearly beating up trainees while Damien supports him from behind. Gamo orders Alfredo to gather the trainees and tell them to retreat. She also orders Asta and Damien to return to their rooms. Then she turns to the instructor and tells him that he is fired, leaving him completely stunned. Later that night, Gamo scolds Alfredo for going too far, even though his intentions were good. Alfredo admits his mistake and accepts any punishment. Gamo asks if Asta received help from Damien during the duel, and Alfredo says no. He explains that Asta is simply very good at fighting. He also tells her that Asta used the mana bullet again, compressing it multiple times to increase its power. When Gamo hears this, she realizes that Asta has incredible mana control. Even high-level mages struggle to handle mana bullets. She also remembers seeing Asta fighting 5 trainees at once without any trouble. Gamo then asks about the successor offer, and Alfredo admits that Asta rejected it immediately. Gamo decides that she needs to re-evaluate the boy and tells Alfredo to bring Asta to her. Soon after, Asta meets Gamo. Damien is also there, casually eating cookies like a spoiled kid. Before Gamo says anything, she places a box on the table. Asta is confused, and Gamo reminds him that Alfredo promised him a gift. Asta is even more surprised when she tells him that she prepared it herself. Gamo tells Asta to open the box. Inside, he finds a high-grade item. Asta is shocked because even in the Blander family, only top mage recruits receive something like this. He immediately suspects there must be a hidden condition. Gamo, as if reading his mind, assures him that he can take the gift freely. She says it is both a thank you for helping her son in the gray zone and an apology for earlier events. Still cautious, Asta asks if taking the item will force him to join House Blander. Gamo says no. He then asks if the item is poisoned, and she again says no. Asta is stunned to learn that the gift comes with no conditions at all. If you enjoyed this story and want to know what happens next, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment part 2 below. Your support really helps, and the next episode is going to be even crazier.